Anti-war protests are continuing to spread across US college campuses. Encampments to protest the war on Gaza have so far been set up at over 40 universities across the country, and at 12 of them, including Columbia, the University of Southern California, Princeton, and Yale, the police have made arrests. And the repression by police has remained pretty intense. These were scenes from Ohio State University last night.
Media.
Just for sort of standing on a lawn outside a university. I mean, it seems pretty bizarre. It's not just students who are being sort of arrested, though. Take a look at this video from Emory University in Atlanta.
I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do for you right now?
Yes, can you call the philosophy department office and tell them I've been arrested?
Philosophy department?
Yes, call the philosophy department office.
I will. What's your...
Noel McAfee, I'm chair of the philosophy department.
I got you.
President-elect.
Yes, you heard that right. The cops were arresting the chair of the university's philosophy department. She's called Noel McAfee. One of her colleagues got even rougher treatment. This is what happened when economics professor Caroline Folin questioned a police officer arresting a student.
Get on the ground! I said, dog! You're a rabid dog!
Oh my God!
Give me some cops!
My head! You just hit my head on the concrete!
Oh my God! Oh my God! You people are fascists! You are Hitler! You are a rabid dog! Shame on you! May you never live another day!
I am a professor!
This is an Emory professor, everyone!
I am a professor of economics!
You are rabid dogs! You are fascists!
It was a peaceful protest until they started fighting troopers.
I agree with you. L-I-N. I reacted impulsively. I apologize.
No, you're right. It's my truth now. I'm gonna share this.
Please remove the handcuffs.
And so apparently no police officer has been sort of disciplined for that, but the professor in question has been charged with battery. I think because I think she might have tapped the police officer to try and get their attention when they were arresting potentially one of her students, but a student at the university. And Aaron, these scenes are incredible. I'm wondering, well, it's stupid questions, but why? Who thinks this is to their benefit, right? If you want to clamp down on pro-Palestinian protest, I really do think that sort of wrestling a female economics professor to the ground is probably not the best way of sort of getting these protests under control. You know, I'm speaking here, if you were coming from a sort of pro-Zionist perspective, this just seems like a recipe for really multiplying the power of this movement.
Yeah, you're bringing US civil society into disrepute. And look, no sensible, thoughtful, even center-right American thinks that's a price worth paying for a foreign country. They don't. The reason why there's been uncritical support for Israel, I'm not talking about the evangelical right, I'm talking about the US establishment. The reason why there's been uncritical support for Israel for decades is because there's no domestic downside for the US. There wasn't a big constituency of pro-Palestine voters. There wasn't this kind of activism. There wasn't this groundswell of support for Palestine, particularly among more progressive sections of the US elite. Just simply wasn't the case. That's now changed. I also found it pretty astonishing, Michael, that image of Noel McAfee. She's the chair of philosophy at that university. She was being arrested by a masked police officer. I find that an utterly extraordinary image. And I know this might sound predictable for me saying it, but imagine if you saw that image of a philosophy professor being arrested in Iran, Russia, China by a masked police officer. Major questions would be asked. And that's not whataboutery. This is somebody exercising a democratic right to protest over a perfectly legitimate foreign policy issue. They're very, their status would say that they should be treated with a certain kind of respect. If you think that the US state is punitive, racist, all those things, yes, then this shouldn't be happening. So it's almost like if you were China and you were like, or Russia or Iran, and you were trying to depict the United States as falling short of all the values it claims to uphold, whether that's with regards to foreign policy, we believe in rule of law, we believe in multilateral institutions, we're against war crimes, collective punishment, freedom of the press, all these things. Clearly, that's all being violated by Israel in Gaza. So it undermines your credentials in that regard abroad. And then you're doing something very similar at home, land of the free, you can protest here, it's fine. They're undermining that domestically in a very muscular, strange, ultimately counterproductive way. I saw one take, Michael, which I just find very annoying. Seemingly somebody on the left saying, isn't it funny how she says, I'm a professor, as in she's not used to it, she's privileged, like some woke argument for police authoritarianism. No, it's precisely when that sort of thing happens where people sit up and they go, okay, this is a bit strange. Your opinion writer at the Financial Times, your columnist at the Wall Street Journal, your feature writer at the Economist magazine, your investment banker, whoever. Okay, these people don't matter more than working class Americans, but clearly in terms of shaping the public debate, yes, they do. Let's be honest. They write the newspapers, they make the investment decisions, they draft the policy. Those people will look at that and think, hold on a second, those are my people. Those are people that look like me or my friends. What's going on here? This is not appropriate. So there's going to be a huge political blowback as a result of this. And Michael, finally, this is happening under President Joe Biden. If this was happening under President Donald J. Trump, everybody in Britain on the sort of the liberal media, James O'Brien at LBC, Paul Mason on Twitter, all the call-ins, BBC Newsnight, everybody, The World and Its Wife, the Newsagents podcast, Alistair Campbell's podcast. This is fascism. This is why Trump has to go. This is why we need a huge cross-class alliance to get Trump out. He's an authoritarian. He's a threat to democracy. But when Biden's in the White House and this kind of stuff is happening, tumbleweed, nothing, nada. And I think that's a problem for Biden, of course, going into the elections. I think they will be tight. in November. But it's a problem for him because if you're saying, I am the one that's defending democracy, I am the one upholding the rule of law, this one is a threat to all those things, and you've been president while college professors are being arrested on campus by masked police officers, it rather undermines your argument.
Well, it's always difficult to say with hypotheticals that definitely would have happened, but I mean, it definitely would have happened. I mean, if Trump had been in power, people would be calling this fascism, right? But because it's Joe Biden, they don't. We've got one more clip for you, actually. This is also from Emory University in Atlanta. So that appears to be a protester being tased in the leg while he is, or while he or she, I think it's a he, while they are sort of have their hands tied behind their back, handcuffed behind their back and lying on the floor. Now, I've never seen a taser sort of used at, point blank like that. But it looks like they're being tased. And this is just completely shocking. This is not the kind of thing, by the way, which is going to deter people from protesting. This is just going to really make a lot more people want to get involved. I think these protests could get a lot bigger over the coming days and weeks. We, of course, will be coming back to report them. I also saw actually that there was an occupation starting up at Warwick University here as well. I saw some tweets sort of saying, why aren't there these sort of things in the UK? There have been a lot of actions for Palestine at UK universities, and obviously these sort of weekly demonstrations in central London. I do have to say, I think the big variable here was just the police overreaction in America. If say, for example, not that we should hope that there's an overreaction against UK protesters, but I imagine if, the people camping at Warwick, if there was a case where people peacefully camping out for Palestine, riot police came in and arrested them all, that would be the one thing that the state could do to make sure that a pro-Palestine campus movement got absolutely massive. So if you are a Zionist in the United States, this seems like a real misstep to me.